Hi, this is John from Hansoft. In this video I'll be showing you how to use Scrum for your highly uncertain feature development and Kanban for your very well-defined art asset creation, all in a single Hansoft project working towards a unified release plan and a single shared game vision. Let's start with the product backlog. This is where the high-level product vision lives. You'll see here at the very top level of the hierarchy, the backlog is broken down into features and art assets. When we expand the feature section, we see that this particular project has 4 distinct feature teams. Each feature team section, or backlog within a backlog, contains all the features and user stories that will eventually be worked on by this team. Each feature team's backlog within a backlog feeds a corresponding section of the planning view. Also, each section shares the same delegation, as you can see here. When we're ready to commit a user story from the backlog to the planning view, we simply navigate in the planning view to the next upcoming sprint for that feature team and drag and drop in the user story. It would then be the feature team's job to break that user story down into the tasks necessary to complete that particular feature. Each one of these tasks would be given a name and assigned out to the corresponding person responsible for each task. This would most likely be a cross-functional team of developers, designers, artists, even QA analysts. Each task would also be given a work remaining estimate. And you can see how that work remaining estimate rolls up to the feature itself. When I collapse the sprint header, you can see that this particular team is working in short 2-week iterations. 3 of these add up to a 6-week milestone or release, which you can see indicated by this red line. If a particular feature is not finished in a sprint, it can easily be dragged and dropped or cut and paste and moved to the next sprint, where it can continue to be worked on and refined. Once again, Scrum, with its short 2-week sprints and its very small cross-functional teams, are perfectly suited to iterating on a particular feature until it's both fun and done. Meanwhile, back in the product backlog, let's talk about assets. So here in the product backlog, we can see that we have an entire asset list broken down by asset type. All of our characters, for example, broken down by character type. All of our environment assets broken down by environment asset type. Let's focus on characters. So if we look at all the characters in this character list, we can see that each and every one of these characters is pre-tagged to a character pipeline. Pipelines in Hansoft are synonymous with Kanbans. If we open up the Pipelines, Kanbans, and Workflow tool and open up that character pipeline, we can see exactly how this particular Kanban is set up. We flow from concept to the high LOD and low LOD. This is a pipeline within a pipeline, or a pipeline reference. We then flow from there to the UVs and lighting. Once UVs and lighting is done, rigging and texturing can be worked on simultaneously by 2 separate people, all the way down to final pass and polish. When we're ready to work on a character, we simply navigate to the Art Assets section of the planning view, open up to their current iteration, and drag and drop that character into the character section of that iteration. You can see that the first thing that happens when we committed this character to this iteration is it automatically blew out all the tasks or stages necessary to create that particular character. We can see that this particular character, party member 6, is currently at the concept stage. Because of the very well-defined nature of art asset creation, we don't need the same stops and starts, we don't need the same overhead that we need with our uncertain feature creation. So we can simply load up this long milestone spanning iteration with as many pipeline Kanban-driven assets as possible. One tool to help with that is the user allocations for this particular long milestone spanning iteration. Here we would probably have our entire art asset creation team instead of small cross-functional Scrum teams. Here we can see that artist Rick is starting to become overburdened, for example. As soon as all of our artists start to become overburdened, start to move into the red, that's when we know that we've probably fully committed as many assets as we can to this particular iteration. The most powerful way to view all of our art assets currently in production by asset type is on Hansoft virtual Kanban boards. If we navigate to board view, and then instead of looking at Scrum or Sprint boards, we switch to Kanban boards and we can select any of our available pipelines. Here we can see a visualization of our character pipeline. We can see all of our characters currently in progress represented by one of these yellow sticky cards. For example, we can see that party member 6 is currently at the concept stage. We can see that we currently have 4 characters at the UVs and lighting stage, 1 at the rigging stage, 2 at the texturing stage, 1 at final pass and polish. Notice here that we have 3 characters at the low resolution modeling stage. Also notice that we have a max work in progress set at this particular stage. We set a max work in progress of 3. Once a 4th character moves into that particular stage, it turns the entire board red, indicating to us that we have a potential bottleneck at the low resolution modeling stage. So essentially, the virtual Kanban boards allow you to visualize work in progress for a particular asset type and also identify and hopefully resolve any potential bottlenecks. In summary, you can now see how we can use Scrum to embrace the uncertainty of future development, while in the same project be using Kanban to optimize our well-defined art asset creation. Both of these methods working together towards a single milestone release plan and a single shared product vision in the backlog. Thank you for your time, and if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at support@hansoft.com.